how I do this angel. Again, I got the inspiration from Mike Peace. I wanted something to make for Christmas, for gifts, and I came up with these. So, and you can do different varieties. Mike's are all pretty much the same size. Mine are like everybody else around here. They're all different sizes and different shapes. So what I'm going to give you tonight is my interpretation. We also, this is my, I guess, blueprint for them. They basically, I just take a block of wood, a maple, 1 3/4 square, center one end of it, find a center point, and then I'm going to put it in my chuck. Maybe we can do an overhead, unless I can change it with the camera, but oh well. So you can put a turn of tenon on it, or because I don't feel like turning a tenon on it, I'm just going to put it in the jar. And
a tenon on mine. I'm going to turn along with Bill today.
Then we'll make sure the jaws are nice and tight, because at one point we're going to take the tailstock off, but not yet. So now that we've got this centered, everything looks good, spins well, we're going to turn this round, and then we're going to take and do our layout on it. So here we go. Hopefully nothing's going to go awry. Now let's make this round. And I actually, I'll turn this at about 2,000 RPMs. I've done them slower. I don't get as good results with it. But again, you may not want to turn that fast. But with the tailstock up tight, knock on wood, I've had no issues. So here we go. One thing I forgot to tell you is this piece is 6 inches long. That gives you enough room to put it in a chuck, gives you enough room to do your layout. And there we go.
Bill, you said you do different size ones. Do you have different measurements for different sizes, or do you just do the same?
They all usually start out like this, but sometimes, as you might know, you go a little deep here or there until you change dimension. I was doing some smaller ones that were about 2.5 inches tall, and I did change the dimensions on those. And I had them somewhere, but I didn't think I'd get that question tonight. So actually, hang on, I might have.
Yeah, I specialize in the hard questions.
So, yeah, if I do an angel that's 2.5 inches tall, you'll have a 1/2 inch head, 3/8 arms, and 1 5/8 inch body. I don't know if you can see that. No, probably not.
No,
So do you set up multiple calipers?
No. I'll do this one if they don't. It's not etched in stone per se. So if I'm an inch, this isn't exactly 1 3/4 inches. I can live with that. If the head's not exactly 3/4, I can live with that. Again, this one started out at a 3/4 inch head, but we had issues. So she got a smaller head. And then she ended up becoming a piece that just sets aside. It'll probably make its way to the wood stove one day. So let me finish turning this. All right, so that's round enough. So we're going to take our template, and I've done them. I do a 1/4 inch, what I call waste. So my tailstock leaves a hole, but you're going to find after we're done here that we're going to end up sanding part of the head. So you can just start your 3/4 from here. This is just habit for me. So we'll do 3/4, and then the arms are a 1/2 inch. And I'll put a mark in the center. Actually, I don't know why I'm doing that, but anyway, it's beside the point. And then this is the body, the end of the body. So we'll mark it all out. And Tom already cheated and started his. So what I'll do now is I'll take my parting tool. And here's my my gauge, my feeler gauge, here, my caliper, 3/4 inch, 3/4 inch head. Not quite.
We're losing your audio, Bill.
I'm losing my audio.
Yeah, might be the lathe canceling it out or something.
Okay. So what we're trying to do now is we're turning the head down to 3/4 inch. And you had asked Ron about different calipers. This is the only basic caliper I have is a 3/4 inch wrench, and I'll use that for my head. It's not going to change.
Yep.
So that's the only one. And that's close enough to the 3/4, so we'll take the rest of this down to 3/4.
Hey, Bill, can you hear me?
Yes.
Since you're getting such a high price for those things, can I suggest that you improve your profit margin by investing in a bidan?
I was going to say the same thing.
You'll love using a bidan.
One like this.
Learn to use
Something
it.
like that. Yeah.
It's a great tool. You
I
can use
haven't
it
used this in
to,
a while, and I don't know why.
well, it's a great tool, and you can use it as a skew almost to shape the head.
Well, some people could.
Practice.
Right.
If you use it making tenons, you tilt it at an angle a little bit, and it'll put the taper in. It'll put
Right.
a thing on the tenon.
Right.
Okay. What I just did now is I marked the point
Right.
of my
Arms.
arms right here. That's just a reference. what I found is, we'll take my parting tool now, and I'm going to cut down the other side of the arms to a finish point so I can work both sides of my arms. And at the same time, we're going to do the back of the body so you have a finite line of where you're turning to. And I'll eyeball this cut to about 3/4 just by looking in on it as I'm cutting. So now we'll take a skew, and I found if I try to turn the head first, then a lot of times I'll have a long neck on my angel, and it doesn't really look that great. So, and actually this isn't centered. So we'll just change that. We're going to start. I believe Mike Peace was using this at turning these angels as a spindle technique. I mean, you can do whatever tools you're comfortable with. Right now, I'm going to turn part of the body down here because I can't get my skew in there to finish the arm.
Bill, if you were Theo, you would have had to do a push-up.
Yeah. Yes.
What was that, Ron?
Theo, the guy for Record Tools,
Yep.
if he moves the banjo while the lathe's running, he has to do a push-up. And if he puts a tool on the bed ways, he has to do a push-up. Not that that wrench is a tool, you know.
What are you talking about?
I'm just saying he holds himself to a very high standard. I do both all the time.
Well, my standards are lower, so I'm okay.
The wire frames, all the lights, 84,000 lights, spectacular.
And I love the story about this place. There's a couple that came here on their first date to check out the lights, and they decided to get married.
But they said, light and colorful, beautiful. That's another story for them.
Okay, so now we have the arms made. I'm going to work on the head. And something you can do with the head is you can, since we're want a 3/4 inch head, just give yourself a mark about 3/8 of an inch. That's gonna be your center point you're gonna go on either direction. I'm pretty happy with that transition. I mean, I can come in a little bit more and clean up this edge just a bit. This is where I run into trouble if I try to skew to clean up this edge. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But you know what? Tonight, let's try it with skew.
Well, Bill, you're a better man than me. I'm still afraid of the skew.
Oh, I still am. As you can see, this is a prime example of it right here. And then this was at Easter time. This was a skew accident.
Maybe it's
So
because
I
the
leave it
lady-
here as a reminder. Pay attention.
Rub
So the other
bevel.
angel was Marie Antoinette.
So Ron, if I screw up on this angel, it's gonna be your fault.
Hey! I like spindle guards for spindle turning. No pressure, Bill. Everybody's watching.
Well, as I told Tom, I've done demonstrations before at Woodcraft and at Sunapee. It's not a
Yep.
big deal.
But not to such an elite audience.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm turning with against my peers, and I'm like, oh boy, what am I gonna mess up tonight? But
We'll
hey, we're
tell
all
you.
human. And it won't be the first, and it won't be my last. Now we're gonna try to get to the top of the head. That head's not too bad. A little bit of sandpaper, we can touch that up. So now we're gonna work on the body. We'll finish up the body. How's yours coming, Tom?
It's coming.
Oh, Tom's turning one at the same time?
Yes. He's not showing you his.
So, huh?
Yeah, sure he
You
is.
can see
Oh,
mine.
I see.
Mine's
I
there.
see something.
Okay.
His angel looks pregnant.
Yeah, I'm not that far yet. I haven't started the body yet.
Okay, so we're gonna see it work on the body here.
I'm taking they're all unisex angels. You haven't tried doing females.
What was that?
I'm taking they're all unisex angels. You haven't done any female angels.
Yes. Yes. I haven't checked under their habits though, so maybe not. Now this one, I mean, this body is got a little bit of a sweep to it. I'm gonna try to make this one more in tune with this one here. Maybe a little bit more of a curve in here. But again, it's all personal preference. So what you see in them.
Careful, I've got water crossed.
Pardon me? No question? Okay.
Oh, you don't want to use the skew for that, huh?
Yvonne, you can take your view, I mean, your spindle gouge. I don't know if you can see that with the camera. That's not bad at all. But I don't like the body, so I'm going to thin this edge, this part down a little bit more. Anybody have any questions?
Bill, is the underside of the arm flatter than the top side?
On this particular one?
Yeah.
Maybe. It's, again, actually, I found if I use a spindle gouge, I'll get more of a, I guess, a roll in it.
Yeah.
So, and actually, I'm good point that you brought that up. I'll probably take my skew and try to true this up so that it doesn't look like that. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Your preference is to have it flatter then?
Yeah, again, you may look at this one and go, wow, I want to see it, you know, with more of a bowed arm here, but I didn't actually pay attention to this one. So yeah,
The cross
try to
section
keep
of
them
mine
equal.
is, cross section on mine has a bow on both sides. It's about equal though.
Is it?
Yeah. But I mean, you're not going to get points taken away for that. So let's see if we can't straighten that out.
Zip.
So the top part of the body is about the same diameter as the bottom part of the head.
Yes. Sometimes they will be, sometimes they won't. But actually, this one's pretty much the same. This one here,
Yeah.
this one here, as I said before, they're all going to be different because it looks like I had issues rounding this over. So she has a very small neck.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see that any better
Yeah,
that way.
that's good. Thank you.
Yep. But again, I try to keep them equal, you know, the body and the neck.
Yep.
Sometimes they are, and sometimes they aren't. It doesn't really change a lot as far as what people see.
So they still pray the same.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
and they'll still give people the same satisfaction. I've given these to several people. One lady who was had lost part of her sight, and she was in a nursing home getting care, and she just held the thing. The nurse told me all day long, running it through her hands because it was an angel, and she felt that the angel was watching over her.
That's cool.
And when I was told that, it's just like, that's the whole reason I turn. You know, granted, I want to make some money to pay for some sandpaper or new tools, but to make somebody happy and make somebody smile, that's huge too.
Yeah.
There's probably more so. So we need to see, this isn't quite flat, so we're going to take my roughing gouge and try to smooth it up a little bit more. A little bit of a hump right here. Okay, a little sandpaper on this, and I'll get rid of some of these burnish marks from the skew. Then we can turn the head.
Hey, Bill, what do you sand it to?
These I typically bring down to 400.
And then what do you use for a finish on them?
My go-to is waterlock. Sometimes I'll do myelins on them. I bought some Triple E recently, and I tried it. Probably should experiment with it a little bit more. But again, like Jim had mentioned earlier, I don't want to spend a week doing finish on these if I don't have to. But what I'm doing is I'll have 4 or 5 angels and maybe 4 or 5 Christmas trees that I'm turning at the same time. So when I'm putting finish on, I'm doing, you know, upwards of 10 pieces. So it's not as bad. I mean, you can come out here and put finish on in an hour, especially with the water locks. You wipe it on, you go through your 10 angels and trees, then you go back through and you wipe them off, and you can go back to doing something else. Okay,
Do you sign the angels?
Do I sign them?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
But see, this one I signed, and it's very horrible handwriting. That's why your wife does yours wrong.
Yeah.
My wife refuses to sign mine. So
If I
what
had
I've
to
done-
sign them, I'd use a brand that I made, branding iron that I made.
Well, actually, my son is getting me one for Christmas. So we're gonna try that out. So now, this is smooth enough off the tool that I'm gonna just start out with 220. I'm gonna put it in reverse. something else I found, a lot of times you can't get down inside here with a piece of sandpaper. If you do, it cuts too hard. So I have these rubber sanding tips that I got with a sanding tool I bought years ago. I don't have the tool anymore, but I still have these pieces, so you can put them on your sandpaper. If you want to get a rigid edge, if you have a ridge in here you can't get out, you can just use this piece and I don't think they're using a gouge or a skew. A little bit more with the 220. Now we're going to take the head off, or the top waist. There's our angel. Need a little touch up here. Center. Now, we go to 320.
No.
Now we'll hit it with 400. A lot of times I'll use the 400. I'll turn the speed up a little bit to burn it this more. I'm pretty happy with that.
Hey, Bill, have you tried alternating your directions?
When I sand it,
Yeah.
after our last meeting we had with Granite State, you had made that comment, and I have, but typically I'll sand these pieces in reverse. But I was looking for this Abernac cloth, which it's like it's a 2500 grit.
Yeah.
So I'll put this on and I'll crank this lathe up to 2200 RPM now. You can see I'm getting a speed off That's not bad. Now we're ready to cut this angel off. And I'll take my parting tool. And what I want to do is go in on a slight angle into the body so that it's not going to rock and you don't have to try to sand it flat. Don't have to do any push-ups and cutting my ears off there. I used to try to cut these off with my parting tool when I first started doing it. What I found out is I was getting tear out on this end grain. So to put the tool rest out of the way, and I'll take a saw and I'll come in and we'll cut it off. Leaves you a little nub on here, which I find is easy to take. I have a 1/4 inch chisel here, and you can just slice that right off. So that nub's gone, and here's our angel.
Bill,
That's just
could you review the dimensions again?
The dimensions?
Yeah.
Actually, what I'm gonna do, I have them on a whiteboard here. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get it. Tom's gonna have to change cameras on me, or for me. Unless I just ruined it. Oh.
Just the block that you had. That's great.
Does that help you out?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Like I said, I do 6 inches. That gives you, this is actually to scale. So this gives you plenty of room, to play with it a bit. So if you obviously cut your head a little deep, you still have some room to play. But again, I have a 1/4 inch of waist, which is for the halo here, or the top of the head, a 3/4 inch head, 1/2 inch for the arms, and 1 3/4 to 2.5 inches on the body. Or, overall plus or minus 3.5 inches. And
Yep.
This is what you should end up with. The 1 3/4 is a starting point. I mean, again, if I took a tape measure, this one is 1 inch and 5/8. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Again, if we were going in and these all had to, somebody goes, I want 100 of these, they all have to be exactly the same, then yeah, I'd be a little more concerned. But at the end of the day, when somebody's, looking at these, they're not going to be concerned about that.
Yeah. You ever paint them?
Pardon me?
Do you ever paint them?
No, what I did last year, I had 2 angels that I turned out of ash.
Yep.
And I ended up scorching them or burning them, you call it.
Yep.
Taking a wire brush and brushing it.
Right.
And then I shellacked it and put on a lime wax. They're
neat.
really, I thought, great looking pieces.
Yep.
But I've never painted one. I've thought about them. One thing I'm going to try is I want to take this halo or the body,
The arms.
and I saw a guy in Vermont doing this with a magnifying glass, and he was burning the wood. And I've tried to do it, leaving just the face, the natural wood color, and burning the rest of the body.
Yep.
But with a torch, I didn't really have any control to do that.
Right.
But a magnifying glass, I'm probably gonna try that at some point, just to try to be different. But painting wouldn't be bad. I thought about giving them to my grandkids because they like to do different things with them. So that's not a bad idea. So now we're gonna make the halo. Can we go back to an overhead, Tom? Or no? All right, the halo, I make about a 1/16 of an inch thick. It's a little thinner than most of them. I don't like the thick halo, but that's just me. Again, whatever you guys, like, that's what you want to do. Just because I do it doesn't mean it's right.
And they're flat on both sides?
Reasonably so. I mean, if you took calibers to this one here, it's got an indent in the bottom side here. But once it's sitting on this head here,
Yeah.
you're not gonna know, because this is gonna be sanded flat. This is gonna be glued on here. So now we're gonna true this edge up again. See, now you got me nervous, Ron.
I'm sorry.
That's pretty flat. I used to try to sand this with a lathe spinning, but I found that I've got too many sanding marks, and they looked great when they were on a lathe like this. But then when I started putting finish on, I would see all my sand marks, and I'm not happy at all. So what I've done now is move my parts. Oh, there we go. Take a small block of wood. It's flat, and I'll wrap my sandpaper around it. I'll look at my grain, and I'll sand this in the direction of the grain. Looks like we have to start with a little bit stronger than 120, or maybe a new 120. Or not. We could just fast forward and say this is my halo. It's already been cut off, but that's not true. Now this is one time I will measure this too, Ron, is I typically don't like the halo the same as the arms. I'll make it about 1/4 to 3/8 smaller. So these arms are we can call it 1.75 weak. So I would make this about 1.5 inches or 1 3/8 for the halo. I think it looks
Okay.
better. It's a better presentation when the halo is smaller than the
Smaller,
arm.
yeah.
I've done them when they were the same size, and it just looked like the Flying Nun. So
So have you tried using the golden mean for any of those calculations or anything?
no, I have not. I have not.
I picked up a set of calipers, and it makes it real easy to, after the Trent Bosch thing, I went and
Mhm.
ordered a small set, and I've been using it, you know. And
Well, I have a set of plans to make one. Actually, you should get. Hang on, Ron.
yeah, I spent $16 and it came in the mail in a day.
I like your thinking. But I had
Yeah.
seen these.
Yeah,
And,
but like I said, $16, it was here in a day. And I've
There was
actually
some-
used it quite a bit.
I
somebody
got
like you,
I
Ron.
got mine for 13.
Where at?
Amazon.
Amazon, what a place.
I don't know. I do a thing for golden mean calipers, and they're for doing makeup.
Yeah,
The
right.
ones I got are for doing makeup.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Yeah, for doing eyes and stuff.
So what kind of makeup are you using, Ron?
It's not working.
Oh, I was just swallowing, asshole. It almost came back up.
You put makeup on that?
Oh,
Is that Amazon on that interweb thing, Bruce?
I think it is. Yeah, I'll show you how to use it.
Your sanding is so exciting. But it's easier to do this now. If I try to cut this off now and then sand it tomorrow, it's not a good thing.
so I just went to get the box, and it's Chinese, American, and North Korean. It says eyebrow balance ruler.
Okay.
Being Scottish, I made my own from plans in a magazine. But I made a bunch of them and took them to a guild meeting once and sold them. Sold a bunch.
Oh,
of them.
and the proceeds went to the guild?
Yeah. Back one of our, probably at the auction or something a number of years ago.
So, Bill, I have one question for you.
Yes.
You don't have any long jaws, huh?
No, I haven't gone to your shop yet.
Oh, no, because the thing is that I'm so anal about wasting wood. With the longer jaws, you could skip 2 inches of wood there.
But see, Ron, you're like me, and Bruce might attest to this. I don't think he's seen your wood pile. But I don't think I'm going to run out of wood before I die. And I don't think, from what I've heard, you will. So wasting this little piece of wood, I'm okay with that.
See, I would save that for something else at some other time.
Well, Anna Maria was here one time, and she goes, "Good God, Bill, you don't waste anything." And at the time, I wouldn't waste it because it's sacrilegious. But now, I have a plethora of wood, so it doesn't bother me as much.
Yeah, but you go to extreme, Bill. The last time I was up there, I saw the toilet paper on the clothesline.
You said you weren't going to bring that up. So, okay, we're gonna try, I haven't touched this tool in ages. So we're gonna try the banana when we take this down to 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches.
I don't mean to say anything, Bill, but I think you have it upside down.
You can use it either way.
Oh,
Because I when I saw somebody using it the first time like this, I checked it out. We can do it both ways.
You know of Escalon that uses it upside down. The rest of the world uses it right side up.
well, I guess it would it would depend on how you sharpen it to get the burr.
True.
I always thought you were supposed to hold the metal end.
That's why you come to these meetings, Bruce, to learn.
Thanks. Learn something every day.
So we are at 1 3/4, and this halo now is roughly 1 7/16. So we're gonna go down a little bit more with it. So now we're going to take our parting tool again. And I want to start my halo, start cutting it. Go back to the banana. Now bringing this down so I can get in here to sand on this bottom edge. You could probably take the banana and you could roll these edges, but I found that I like 180 grit sandpaper better to do. They roll these edges. I get a consistent edge.
So, Bill, have you ever used different woods for the halos?
I did once and I didn't like it. I prefer to have the halo match the grain, but again, that's me.
Yeah.
I think Jim has done different woods for halos. Is that true, Jim?
Yeah, but this one here that I have, I've got same wood. So it shows up pretty much the same. The wings and the halo are lined up so that the pith is in the same orientation.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like it's all one piece.
Right.
I think when I make an angel, I'm gonna give it a rainbow halo.
There you go. Yeah. And of course, you're not going to look under the skirt, so you can't tell whether the rainbow is correct or not, right?
Yeah, it's irrelevant.
Yep.
What's irrelevant?
What's under the skirt, under the habit?
Under the vestments?
Yeah.
I just want to sand the back edge of this because you will see this on the hail. I mean, yeah. If you sand this edge while it's on a lathe, you'll see 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch of this underside of the halo. So you need to sand that. And we're gonna do that with the lathe running. Sometimes I think I'm better than I am, like right now, so 220 is not good to start with. We'll go back to a 150. And I notice I relief cut this area in here so I get my hand in here without cutting myself. Sometimes I'll even roll this edge over so you don't get a cut again.
So the side that you're sanding now, is that going to be the bottom of the halo?
Correct. This is the top of the halo here.
Yeah.
And that's what I forgot to do. So I'll take this 2500 again. And we're going to put this on here. And it just gives it a much nicer finish. So when I do apply finish to it, it'll look, I won't have to put as many coats on as Jim was having an issue with, and I've had. But another thing you can do on the underside of this, you probably can't see it with this camera angle right now. But if I can't sand it to as smooth as I like, when I cut this off, I'll take my power sander and I'll sand the bottom of this halo. I also use this to sand the bottom of the Angel. So with that being said, I don't like the way that's a sanding like this, so we're going to cut it off. We're going to cut this off in the same manner that we did the body. Get down close. And we'll take the saw. And cut it off. So again, it leaves a little nub again, as you can see. And depending on the wood, sometimes the harder woods, I'll put this on a pad, on a bench, and cut this. This one's, the maple's not that hard, so we're gonna.
Have you got yourself with the chisel?
Not yet.
Tonight will be a first.
Actually, I take that back. I did do that. No, I cut myself on sandpaper, and I was cutting this nub off, and there was blood on the piece of wood. I'm looking at my thumbs, and there's no blood, and I had cut myself here, so I had blood all over the halo. But it's sanded off.
So Bill, when you glue that on, I know you're going to do that eventually. You don't glue it on the top. It's kind of askew, right? It's just off to the side.
No, it will be. I'll show you that in a second.
I was going to say, I mean, if you left a peg on that halo that would fit into the recess on the top of the head, would that work?
I actually did a piece like that, Bruce. And it was purely by accident. And I meant to bring that piece out tonight, but I forgot. I had left, well, actually it was like this piece right here.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the, the indent here. So if you took this nub here, you could put this on.
Right.
And you could see it would set right in there and it's perfectly centered.
Right.
So if you want, I guess you could do that. That's just not a bad idea, Bruce. Leaving that indent in here, leaving a small nub on here, you can still put this on a bit of an angle and it would make lining up a heck of a lot easier.
That's the way I do them, Bill. Of course, I'm in a production mode, making a bunch of them at a time. And so I'm not using half as many tools as you are. But when I cut that off, I just cut it off into my hand. I don't use a saw. And it does leave a small nub that fits into the tailstock hole.
Mm-hmm. But the problem I found, I've done it before, and it was a unique piece of wood. And what I did is when I cut it off, it ripped the grain out.
Well,
Okay, so if
You're
your
forcing
parting
it.
tool, if your parting tool has an angle so that the
Yep.
point is away from your surface,
right.
it'll part off a little sharp thing and leave a tab of material. When I do my shot glasses, that's how I do it. And that way I don't have to have, I never end up with breakout.
I think I've only had it brought, 2 pieces break out like that, but just, because I don't want it to happen again, I'll cut them off like this.
I think you'll find that your cutoff tool isn't as sharp as it should be, and you're pushing it a little too hard for the speed that you're at. So
This is
run
true,
it
too.
at a slightly higher speed. Remember, at the center, it's not moving at all. So you got to run it at a very high speed and a very, very slow feed into it, so that you're not tearing the grain as you're cutting through it.
And
Good point.
Bill, when you get
Yes.
when you get that order for 100 of them, you won't be cutting them off with the saw.
Exactly. Yeah, when you get yourself into a production mode of 15 or 10 or 20 at a time, you'll cut out about 5 tools. So you're doing it all with the bidan, a skew, and a wrench.
Mhm. So we're gonna try what you just said. We're gonna take my parting tool. We're gonna practice on this one. Gonna turn the speed up.
Your parting tool very sharp.
Pardon me?
Is your parting tool very sharp?
Yes, I was just sharpened before we
Okay.
started today.
All right.
We're 2,300 RPM. One thing that's hard to see is the how much of a nub I have on here.
You probably should have opened it up and opened your slot a little bit more.
We can do that.
I can see Ron cringing with the wasted wood there.
Pardon
So
me?
I just went out to get one of my parting tools, and this is Freud or something like that. It's from 30 freaking years ago. Yeah, it's a Freud. But with the angle on the end, and because it's in the middle of the parting tool, I can go left or right, leaving that little tab.
Mhm.
You know.
This one's at a D way, it's cut at 60 degrees.
Hey, you're making a top.
The other thing I get when I do that, because this vibrates, you can see where this piece was wobbling. I don't know if you can see that in the camera.
Yeah.
You can see these lines. No, probably not. Maybe now.
Yeah.
So that's but this nub is actually very small. This could be sanded off relatively easily with a sander.
Right.
So now that we've got that done, we're going to, I have a stationary belt sander, which I will cut, that's how
The arms.
cut the arms out. Give me a second, I'm going to turn this over to the, I think I can get my sander with it. We're not gonna turn the sander on. Change camera direction. No, that's not gonna work.
Oh, almost had it.
We will. We will.
Superman moving that bandsaw like that.
I work out.
One hand, you know?
Well, since I'm not gonna turn this on, you can see this, I'll take this angel and I'll do on the very edge and go back and forth to cut the arms.
So how many have you given them a flat face?
I can't tell you that.
I
Because
think I
I've actually corrected them.
Didn't I show you one the last time we were together with a smile on his face?
So then, now that I've cut my arms, we've got the arms cut like so. Now we have to put an angle on the head. And I like what Bruce had said, I'm gonna try it next time, is I'll take this piece now, and since this isn't running, this isn't gonna work. Tripod would have been great.
Hey, what's the live edge slab?
That was given to me by hang on, I'll think of his name in a minute. It's gonna be a coffee table someday, hopefully. So what we do is there's no specific angle to the head. It's just, I'll put it on there. You wanna try to keep it square with the arms. Otherwise you're gonna have a halo that's sitting, you know, kind of off to the side.
It'll be an angel from the hood.
Exactly. So now that we've done that, we've cut our arms, we've cut the angle on the head. All I'll do is take some CA glue. This is Gorilla Glue. And just put a little dab of Gorilla Glue on the head. One thing I've learned is if I put the glue on, I need to let it set for several hours before I put finish on, because I've had an issue with the finish turning white. So I'll look at the grain, and I'm going to look at the grain on this, and I'm going to try to align them, orient them the best I can, and then center this again as best I can. Hold it for a couple seconds.
While you're holding that, Bill, I can now see why your image was swinging when we were looking down on your lathe, because it looks like you've got it mounted to the light, the camera mounted to the light.
I do.
Okay, all right. I thought I was starting to get nauseous, but
Oh, I was thinking the fan. No, pardon me.
the fan.
So, yeah, it was worse before when before everybody got here. You know, Tom and I looked at it and the thing was going back and forth. He goes, "Yeah, you're on a boat, the COVID boat." So anyway, here we are.
Very nice. Very nice.
Now
Inspiration.
Now I have some more to sell. Any other questions?
Let's see it again and turn it.
This one or the one we just did?
The one you just did.
The one we just did. It's not finished on the bottom.
Yeah. Turn it with the halo.
We don't have a halo on this one.
Hey,
the halo.
Bill, when you said you got the CA turned white, were you using activator?
No, this is actually just this is Gorilla Super Glue.
Yeah.
I really like. I've actually used this and finish carpentry as well. The stuff is great holding power and it sets quick.
That thin or medium?
It's whatever Home Depot had, and it says just impact tough, Gorilla. And it's probably on the medium side for density.
Is it a CA glue just with the brand, the logo?
I'm not sure, Bruce.
It doesn't matter. I was just curious.
Does it require an Does it require an activator?
No.
You could use one. It's a CA glue.
It is a CA?
It's just Gorilla's brand.
Yep.
So the thing is that if the wood had some moisture in it, that's probably why it turned white.
I'm thinking it turned white because the glue hadn't set, but it's just, I mean, you may be right, Ron.
Not that I would know that for any reason.
Well, Tom and I were discussing something before the meeting tonight, and
How to shut me up?
well, that's not gonna happen. Yeah, you're part of the entertainment, Ron.
I know how to do that. I can push the button right here. Gotcha.
But we're gonna do a challenge next month, and we're gonna challenge everybody to make an angel. And
Done. Do I get to?
what was that?
All
You
done.
can't use,
All done.
No, you have to start from scratch.
but something that I've talked to Tom about, and I want to bring this up at Granite State Wood Turners as well, is we're going to try to judge these with a camera. But at the same time, what I want to do, and Bruce and I have talked about this, it's hard to do a critique on this. Like, as Bruce said, you can't touch it, you can't feel it, you can't smell it. But what we're going to do is, I think the way we're going to judge them is, it's not going to be fair for Sue to turn one of these who's been turning for 3 or 4 years, or have Jim turn one that's been turning for 100 years.
Oh,
So-
I'm not that old.
99.
80.
So we're going to do it. You know, you're going to show your angel and tell us how long you've been turning, and then we'll make a decision from that.
Okay,
way
we can make our own representation, right? Because
Yes.
I'm thinking on the other end of the spectrum.
I mean, you
That should be interesting, Ron.
You're gonna turn horns for it?
Yeah, see?
That's exactly what I was thinking. We'll see. I'm up for this.
All right. But you know, it should be something fun, you know, for everybody to they're going to look at what you do, Ron, and go, oh, I want to try that.
Or what a loser.
Well, it's, you said, the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Bill, would you
Yes.
hold up the one that has the halo and the arms carved out?
I have 3 of them.
Yeah, right. That's what, yeah. Thank you.
If anybody has questions on these, you can call me. If you're making yours and you want to ask me a question, I'm fine with that. If you want to,
So can you take a picture of your measuring stick and email it to
well,
me?
I'm just going to say, it's going to take somebody smarter than me. We can actually do, this one's actually better.
When I meant to take a picture with your camera when we're all done, and I'll email it out to people.
Okay, I can do that. And I'll take the picture of this one.
Yep.
The block itself is 6 inches. All these dimensions are right, and you can take it like I did. If I turn myself off, and just place it on your work and just put your marks on it.
Nice.
I mean, I have a couple of them that I use. This one I highlighted more today because I want people to be able to see it. But I'll send Tom this picture and he can post it, I guess, on the interweb. Bruce?
I have an idea to throw at you guys for that.
Oh, boy.
It's something I've been using for years. I have a little folder with pictures of an angel or a little sketch of with the dimensions that I used the last time. And in it, I throw a file card, like a credit card. Here's one from Comcast or whatever. They come in the mail all the time. You get all these plastic cards.
Mhm.
And with a little ink marker, I'll mark my dimensions on it, whatever dimensions I want, and I just lay that on the piece. I can get it in much closer without
Right.
a big block in the way. And then when I'm done, I can, instead of having a block that I need to go find because it got mixed up with the wood burner stuff or whatever, it's in the file drawer with the
I don't know what
file.
you're talking about.
With the the little card is in there with all the dimensions on it. I might put on there angel or something like that.
Mhm.
And
That's a good idea.
just to throw out that idea to you.
Mhm. I like
Hey, will I be disqualified if I go and make a metal template?
that.
You're in your own category.
Hey, I gotta do something at work.
By the way, from a safety standpoint, these little plastic cards, you can make them all the layouts while the pod is turning, and you don't have to worry about getting cut by the metal template that gets caught with a catch and rips your hand off.
This is true.
So are we going to cut away to Tom's little exercise?
I want to see Tom's angel.
Right? Here's mine. So let me switch cameras on my end. Maybe this one. Yeah. Here's mine.
Oh,
Very nice.
Very nice.
Great.
So.
Now, did you start with the same size piece of wood?
Approximately. Mine was a little shorter, but I think I ended up about the same.
It looks the arms look a little bigger.
Yeah, I think mine are.
A weightlifter.
My arms are about almost 2 inches, just under 2 inches.
Hey, we're not gonna be scored on size, right?
You're getting personal, Ron. That's a halo. It's very thin.
Yep, yeah. I like to going thin. I also have a little dish on it, which I thought would look neat. But we'll see when I get it glued on.
Hey,
I've
Tom,
done
did
'em-
you cut it off with your parting tool?
Yes, I did.
I
No
don't see.
saws.
I don't see a saw.